First things first, what do we mean by FAIR data? So FAIR is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And if we go through these different terms, the first on findability, is the research community able to find the data that's generated in the proposal? And when the data is shared, is it in alignment with the consent of the patient samples and with regards to the GDPR? For accessibility, how would one access these data? Would it be via remote access? Would the data be centralized, or is there another model? For interoperability, do my data align with recognized standards, or maybe even more pertinently, can they align with recognized standards? And a counter argument there would be, if the data are not aligned with recognized standards, why would that be? As long as one could argue significant reasons why not to align with standards, this is fine, but really that would have to be described in a data management plan. And then for reproducibility, reusability, how have I envisaged the sustainability of these data? So here on this slide, I've put a number of standards that are used to cover each of these components from the FAIR data principles that are offered through EJPRD, and hopefully some of these are recognizable to you. If not, they're all able to be found within the EJPRD website. So let's move into what we want to see within the FAIR data management plans of the JDC proposals. So first is an introduction. Why we really want to include data management plans in the proposal. So the first and probably the main reason is so that the approach to the data management and the sharing of data that's generated in a proposal is considered before the project begins. Not only is it written in the text in the proposal, but it gives the consortia an opportunity to discuss this in depth, to make sure that it's outlined and understood across all the parties and the partners of exactly what tools and resources will be used, how data will be managed, how it will be used within the project, and then how it will be sustained. This is absolutely imperative, because we've seen for far too long that this becomes something that's not considered as the project is being developed. Instead, is only thought about once the project has been implemented, which is far too late. And for the data management plan, it establishes the framework for working with the data throughout the project. So not only at the start, not only at the end, but every single part of the data flow for the project is considered and written down. The third thing here is about identifying resources needed to support the sustainability of the data. So I mean resources here in two ways. The first is services that are needed and standards that are needed in order to describe and utilize the data, but also resources in terms of manpower. How can these actually properly be costed within the proposal plan and give a credible evaluation of these things for the reviewers, ultimately leading to efficient time management and lower costs during the project implementation. If we think about the benefits of doing this, I think the first one's quite important, the GDPR, where it's now necessary to minimize data. And a strong data management plan avoids unnecessary duplication of data, which has a number of cost and efficiency savings. The second thing is about a sustainability plan for the data to ensure ongoing access and continuity and staff turnover. So this is one of the most common problems that we see in our field in terms of data reuse and strong data management, is that staff leave organizations, and that as new staff come in, it's on just simply where the data is or how to access the data, how the data was kept. All these things are just not properly maintained. A strong data management plan tries to negate this. The third thing is about enabling validation of results, and this is absolutely imperative for our field when we think about matching samples based on phenotypic data. Not only is this difficult on a country level, but when we think about rare diseases, we're talking about often continent level. So if we want to think about validation of results, we have to have the data that's accessible and refindable and able to be used in different parts of the continent with regards to EJPRD. The fourth thing I've got here is about getting credit when others cite your work. So as we think about the reusability of data, if data is properly managed, then it's able to get credence for who generated the data originally, which is absolutely important to us as researchers. The fourth thing is about sharing your data and leading to collaborations and advances in research. Again, the earlier point about the matching of patient samples across the continent of Europe has an important point here. And then the final thing is about complying with researcher-funded mandates, which are becoming more and more popular, as we're seeing here with the transnational call. So really, what do we want to try and see within a data management plan? So the first is basically it's a way to describe the methodology that's used to develop, use and sustain the data that is applicable within the proposal. What is the data verification process of this particular proposal? What standards do these data align to for humans, for engineers, for machines? Which EJPRD FAIR data resources have been utilised by the project, and how do we ensure sustainability beyond the duration of the project? Also, what is more and more common to see is how the data management plan is reflected in the deliverables of a project. So the data management plan and the process by which the consortia build a data management plan for the proposal is absolutely a key step to making a strong proposal, but it's also relatively high level when it's described in the half page or the 1 page. What we're commonly seeing in successful projects that have a strong data management component is an early project deliverable about really formalizing what the data management plan means in practice. So I would encourage the proposals to include an early deliverable in the project for fleshing out exactly what the DMP means in practice and exactly how that will flesh out in the project execution. One thing that is important to consider is, have I included in the consortium the relevant expertise to implement the DMP? So if we think about the standards that are hopefully to be implemented, do we have the expertise within the consortium, and has this been described properly? If not, how are we going to build that into the deliverables? Could it be a workshop? Could it be some other way to interact with those that are data verification experts or some other means? Can I connect these data to the EJP RD virtual platform? If so, have I described how I would do that? And if not, have I explained and justified why I wouldn't do that? And then finally, if I'm planning to reuse any data from the EJP RD resources or services or registries, have I described that? So this basically brings me to my summary slide here, the last content slide, which is a flowchart that I've generated and modified from others that have been available within the project of EJPRD for some while. But it's about how to build your DMP. So basically a decision flowchart. And I would ask for all of you that are building your data management plan for the proposals to take some time and think about the steps in this workflow. The first question is, do I wish my data and results to be reproducible via the FAIR data principles and the EJPRD virtual platform? You know, if the answer here is no, then I really hope it wouldn't be for anyone. The option is to silo your data, but I would really think you would have to give a strong justification of why you would silo your data in this by any successful project proposal in this project. If the answer is yes, then the first question is really, where are the alignments with the EJPRD? And the question that I would ask you all to look into your consortia and into yourselves is, am I aware of the EJP RD verification strategy? If yes, then you can start to build your data management plan and contact the help desk in order to make sure that the alignment is there with the plans for verification and data management within EJPRD. If the answer is no, then it might be worthwhile spending more time to learn about verification within the EJPRD, and there are resources for this. So there are annual summer schools that have happened every year, so you can have access to the summer schools that are happening, but also material that's happened from recent workshops in order to build an awareness of what's been happening in the project so far. Also, we have the help desk of EJPRD, which can help with collaboration with the verification groups. And this conversation will help build a strong data management plan for the JTC proposals. So in this brief presentation, I've talked about the need for verification as a collaborative and interdisciplinary process. And the benefit here is to ensure that data is reused and can be used in e.g. federated AI applications. The EJPRD has a number of tools and guidance, the guidances available for complying with the FAIR data principles and the specifications of the virtual platform. And it really is envisaged that any GTC project can contribute by implementing the FAIR data management to conform to the guidance and the specifications, and therefore contribute to the evolution and specialisation of the resources that are out there for the needs of rare diseases research. And then at the end, I've highlighted again that the EJPRD verification experts are available and can be approached for collaboration via the EJPRD help desk. So thanks to all those that are involved in the EJP RD verification and to the data management within the project. Thank you.